Hello there. People out there gonna hear me or not? I don't know.
Could also talk about how you can actually navigate.
No. Okay. Gonna hear me or not? Okay, hello guys, welcome to my live channel. It's me, Monty. I'm gonna play, I'm gonna live stream in my, I'm dumb. I'm very dumb. I'm sorry guys. Let's see. Okay. I have an idea. You're gonna reaction to something videos. Maybe you'll like to the react. I'm gonna I don't know what really reacting for. Let's make YouTube. I make it here smaller for me, for you guys. As you can see what we're reacting. Yeah, I'm gonna make new framework. YouTube, maybe on YouTube videos, gonna be like different. Yeah. What the fuck is that? Okay, stop. This, okay. Close. Okay. YouTube, yeah, Opera. So, please. So guys, so people over there. Okay. I don't know where I'll put my shitty button. Okay, button, never mind. Where's my... Okay, there you go. What now? We can reaction to Fnaf VRCHAT's games. I don't know, you like. I'm sorry guys, I'm tired. Don't come to the menu. Oh, it's it. Okay, let's just let's just look in the video. I don't know what video I wanna watch. How about YouTube groups that we can watching or something different videos? How about oh my god. I have no idea. I'm gonna play something videos on YouTube. I don't know, maybe, maybe creepy horror games like, Super Mario 64. 64, Iceberg. How about that one? Iceberg. Explain, no, I think, yeah.
Super Mario 64 is one of the best-selling video games ever made. Released for the Nintendo 64 on June 23, 1996, it debuted in Japan on the 23rd, and later in North America on September 29th. Being one of the launch titles for the Nintendo 64 console, Super Mario 64 was a gaming revolution to say the least. The console literally introduced a whole new dimension into the playing field and forever changed the course of gaming. So let's talk about the game's iceberg. This is the ultimate Super Mario 64 iceberg. Created by Reddit user ShadowNX720, this is honestly the biggest iceberg I've seen for Super Mario 64 that isn't complete nonsense. Now, if you aren't familiar with the iceberg format, this is how it works. The way an iceberg works is that the farther you go down in the tiers, the more obscure and unknown the material on the iceberg is. So for example, things like backwards long jumping would be at the very top, and absolutely crazy and unheard of things would be at the very bottom. Another thing to keep in mind is that there's probably going to be some entries that I leave out of the video because I assume that everybody already knows about them. Like, I don't think I need to mention that you can beat the game with 120 stars. Another thing to keep note of is that the green submissions are the ones that only exist in the DS version of Super Mario 64. I'm also going to be including a confidence meter in the bottom left, ranging from 0 to 5, with 5 being me being very confident in what I'm talking about, and then 0 having absolutely no idea how accurate my explanation really is. This video is going to split the different sections of the iceberg into video chapters to keep the video nicely organized throughout. Have an interesting entry not included in the list? Let me know in the comments. Anyways, let's...
Are you ready to watching? That's a mini thing over there. No, guys? Okay. Let's go!
Begin. Every copy of Super Mario 64 is personalized. There have been many videos made about this phenomenon, and believe it or not, it does have some truth to it. A vast portion of it is creepypasta material, but the portion of it that isn't a creepypasta refers more to the fact that Nintendo's experimental AI adapts and creates a slightly altered version of the game tailored to the specific owner's copy. Unfortunately though, this Nintendo experimental AI isn't actually real, and this creepypasta is nothing more than fiction. It really does feel like a copy sold for 1.5 million. As you could probably guess, there was a copy of Super Mario 64 sold for $1.5 million. On July 12, 2021, an ultra-rare first edition copy of Super Mario 64 sold at an auction for an astonishing $1.56 million. This copy of the game is so valuable because, for one, it was the first ever print of the game, and secondly, it has never been opened and never played. This copy is probably the closest thing you could get to a perfect copy of Super Mario 64. Every SM64 review is the same. I really don't know what this entry is about. I looked pretty hard, but if I were to guess, I'm going to assume that it's probably some niche copypasta or something, but that's really as far as my knowledge goes. The A Button Challenge. The A Button Challenge is one of the most insane and legendary gaming challenges to ever come out of a game, and on paper, the challenge is fairly simple. You have to beat Super Mario 64 without pressing the A button at all, not even once. Bismuth has been documenting this challenge for over a year now, and he has since uploaded a full collection of all of the 8 parts combined, and the full video is over 5 hours in length. It is seriously honorable work, but I don't have the time to talk about one entry in the whole video, so we need to keep going. Eternal Star. I'm also not entirely sure about what this entry could be referring to, but it might be this short film called Eternal Star. Uploaded in August of 2020, the video is a short film centered around the statue in the courtyard, where Mario gives the statue a green star, I guess, and then Luigi comes out of it and pretty much knocks Mario out cold. There's a good chance that this could more likely be referring to a specific star in the game or something, but I couldn't find anything else about it. Hey guys, I'm currently editing this right now, and I just now realized that this is what Eternal Star actually means. So yeah, please ignore that last random ass short film. References in Mario Odyssey. There is a lot of references to Super Mario 64 all throughout Super Mario Odyssey. From entering paintings to literally having the castle's courtyard in the game, there's well over 25 different individual nods to Super Mario 64 throughout Super Mario Odyssey. Some of them are basic connections, like finding Yoshi on the castle roof, and some of them are pretty obscure, like Bowser's memories in the game of his encounters with Mario way back in Super Mario 64. Some of these aren't really references more than they are reoccurring characters in the Mario franchise, like Peach's castle itself, but you get the idea. GigaLeak content. From March of 2018 all the way to July of 2020, 10 main sets of data from Nintendo were leaked all over websites like 4chan. The term GigaLeak mainly refers to the second leak on July 24th, which was 3 gigabytes in size. The leaks are believed to be from companies contracted by Nintendo in the design of the consoles, but there's nothing really confirming this. The sheer size of the leak is absolutely massive and later led to some pretty insane discoveries, but we'll talk about that later on. Is Real 2401. You can't really cover obscure Mario content without covering this. Over 24 years after Super Mario 64's release, the mystery behind this infamous sign in the courtyard finally became a...
Yeah, I know that one, like, I would say, it's, Luigi is real, L is real, but it's, like, different, you know? It's a retouch. I don't know, it's, they say that it is just a retouch. Collect all stars, kinda say, yeah, that's all what I know about this simple thing over there. It is really easy, so guys, yeah.
A solved case, and it's all in the name of the entry. L is Real 2401 is legendary. It really was the biggest mystery surrounding Super Mario 64, and for a very long time, it was the ultimate grounds for speculation and myth. But due to the GigaLeak that I mentioned earlier, the community was finally able to have a definitive conclusion to the myth, and it actually turned out to be true. Luigi was not only found in the beta leak for the game, but there were also uncompressed voice lines from Luigi as well as many other characters.
Yeah, that's right. At some point, you play Mario 64 on the Ultra 64. There was a playable Luigi game. You can play multiplayer, but it was the beta version of Mario 64, you know? And I saw something about that. Yeah. So that means you can play as Luigi, or you can play with a multiplayer with Luigi. That means you're gonna you see a lot of Luigi. So that's what I'm gonna say. You can play as Luigi and define a Luigi model in the copy of Mario 64, you know? And you can see other things like, you know, that's what you can say. Oh man, that don't feel good. Wait a moment, please. Yeah, this is a simple story about Luigi. Let's start.
Take a listen.
That's delicious. Oh, mamma mia.
Start.
That's what I never hear the voice of Luigi on Super Mario 64. That's kind of weird, you know? Sounds like real.
Road. Not really all that sure why this is on the list, but Star Road is a really popular ROM hack for Super Mario 64 created by Skies. Released in December of 2011 in the form of a release trailer, the ROM hack featured a whole new playing experience as well as 130 stars as opposed to the original game's 120. The task for Star Road is also really fun to watch. Last Impact. Last Impact is another ROM hack for Super Mario 64, created by Kays Emanuar in September of 2016. The ROM contains 130 stars, technically 131, but the last star doesn't actually reach the star count, 12 power-ups, and Mario only has 6 health as opposed to 8. The ROM borrows several different aspects of the Super Mario Galaxy games, mostly noticeable with the power-ups. There's many other interesting things about Last Impact, but I'm going to move on for the sake of time. Yoshi. I sort of mentioned this earlier, but in Super Mario 64, after collecting all of the 120 stars, you can use the cannon outside of the castle to shoot yourself up to the castle roof. And when you get up there, the player will be greeted by none other than Yoshi. And after talking with him, he then jumps off the castle.
Oh yeah, no. Luigi, Yoshi, you can find Yoshi and he gives you a special jump with height of level 100% level. And you can jump like someone that gets crazy. It's something really weird.
Castle, and is never seen again in the game. Lego question mark block set. This entry is referring to the question block Lego set that was released in 2021.
Start me out,
It's actually a pretty...
I don't know why, but I can't go in the menu. Yeah, I need to restart. Give me a moment, guys. Please. I'll be right back. Okay, now I can see my video frame. I need to restart this VRCHAT. And it's restarting right now. Yeah, you can wait in for a moment, please. I don't know what to say, but just crazy thing from Mario 64. Looks like really cool. You know? I can put the camera like something different. In a something different way. Okay, VRCHAT is restarting right now. Yeah. Give me guys are gonna play and hang out with me, so I like to say, hooray! Hooray! You're gonna hang out with me, guys. But we gonna reaction to Mario 64, like how I say. Why you can't go in the middle? We need to restart our course. I'll be right back. I gonna restart our course. There are smaller mistakes, maybe are occurs. Want to say, my battery is low for my controller, and restart. I'll be right back, guys. I'm back from the dead. How about that one? Hey guys, I'm back. Welcome to my, multi not here for a long time. I'm gonna play, no, I don't play. I just watching videos on YouTube. I'm gonna play on some videos. Watching. And it's working. It's working.
Pretty cool Lego set. It features a couple of the worlds from Super Mario 64, even including Peach's castle. The castle is even complete with an interior, even though it's rather tiny. I used to love Legos as a kid, so maybe there's a chance that I'll get around to buying this sometime. 3D All-Stars controversy. On September 18th, 2020, Nintendo released Super Mario 3D All-Stars to the Nintendo Switch. It commemorates the 35th anniversary of the Super Mario franchise, but a lot of people weren't really all that happy with it, and as you could imagine, it sparked a short-lived controversy. Nintendo changed the ported titles, and the most controversial change was that for Super Mario 64, they removed the backwards long jump, making the trick impossible. And as said by King K, here are the biggest complaints related to Mario 64.
No widescreen, audio delay. It's using the patched version, which means there's no backwards long jump and So Long Gay Bowser is out. There's an awful screen smoothing effect that you can't turn off, especially noticeable with the UI and text. And don't you come crying to me about preservation. There is nothing about this collection that screams to me that the goal was about preservation. Nothing.
Sparkling triple jump. I mentioned earlier how if you got all of the stars and went to the castle roof, that you could talk to Yoshi. Well, something I purposefully...
Yeah, if you talk with Yoshi, you can, he says something, save the world, right? You know, guys, gotta play. I played Mario 64 before, yeah. I played it.
didn't mention is that after talking to Yoshi, Mario obtains a sparkling triple jump. During the effect, Mario is invincible for the entire duration of the jump when the sparks are present. Royal Raceway. Royal Raceway is a track in Mario Kart 64 that nods to Peach's castle from Super Mario 64. The track unfortunately doesn't go inside of the castle, like with tracks like Bowser's Castle, but it's still a nice little reference. All you can really do here is drive around the area. 0 and 1 star. This is just alluding to the already well-known fact that you can, in fact, beat Super Mario 64 with 0 and 1 star respectively. There's another entry on this list called 16 star that I'm going to assume points out that you can also beat the game with 16 stars, so I'm going to combine these together. Luigi's Casino. Luigi's Casino is a mini-game from Super Mario 64 DS where you can play inside of Luigi's seemingly existent casino. I say seemingly because it's actually a rather obscure fake location. People within the community really wanted to know whether or not this casino was not only an extensive location, but if it was accessible in the game. But as it turns out, it's rather disappointing, but not all that surprising either. The casino that is seen in the background of the minigame is quite literally the entire map. There's nothing beyond it, but it does make sense when you realize that Nintendo probably didn't want to waste resources on a full area that the player would never see. Somebody did eventually create a playable version of the casino with a mod created by Halebot in February of 2018, but that's pretty much it for this one. Backwards long jump. It's literally just a backwards long jump.
Oh yeah, the long
I don't
jump.
think that this is on the list for no reason though, because it's likely that Nintendo knew about the backwards long jump far before anyone else did, but the first documented case of people discovering it was in the Spanish version of the November 2000 issue of the Nintendo Power magazine. But Nintendo probably did know about it, considering that in 1997, an updated version was released in Japan, which made backwards long jumps impossible. So long, Gay Bowser. This was briefly mentioned earlier from King K's video about 3D All-Stars, but not only is this a huge meme in the Super Mario 64 community, but for a long time, people actually didn't know what exactly Mario was trying to say. It was later confirmed by Charles Martinet
So long, Gay Bowser.
that the line was actually, "So long, King of Bowser." The unsettling nature of Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64 is a generally unsettling game at times. This is mainly due to the game's design, as well as the game's aesthetic as a retro game. A lot of the stigmatism can be attributed to the limitations that Nintendo had to do when developing the game, but to put it simple, the unsettling nature that can make Super Mario 64 terrifying is really down to the aesthetics, hardware limitations, enemies, and the graphics. Press Start to Continue made a really good video about this very topic, and I highly suggest you go watch it. Return
Interesting.
to Yoshi's Island. Return to Yoshi's Island is a rather recent ROM hack created by K's Emanuar. Published in 2021, this is a seriously amazing ROM. As far as I know though, the game is still currently in a public demo release, and the mod itself isn't fully finished yet, but this is one of the few ROM hacks that I've seen that actually manages to run really well on an actual Nintendo 64, as well as running in an emulator.
Real N64, perfectly fine. I tested all of this and it runs perfectly. As you can see, this is the game running on Real N64.
Purple prizes. In 2005, DeviantArt user King Bowser Koopa posted an image scan of an article titled Purple Prizes, and named the submission Waluigi in Super Mario 64 DS. The article suggests that Waluigi could be unlocked in the game and provides various hints towards unlocking the character. The article is really well made, and it did manage to convince quite a lot of people that there might be a chance that Waluigi could exist in the game. What really sells it for me though are the 3D models used of Waluigi to up the realism of the article. Only 2 days after posting the image, however, King Bowser Koopa revealed that the image was just an April Fool's joke. And that concludes Tier 1. Mystery Goomba. On April 4th of 2014, Panenkoic 2012 noticed that something was off about the enemy count when going into Bowser in the Sky. He noticed that Bowser in the Sky loads more objects than seems to be visible in the stage, and in this case, there's actually a third Goomba on a platform that spawns on the death barrier when entering the stage, making the Goomba spawn far below the map. This missing Goomba case only took Panenkoic 2 days to solve, with him making a follow-up video on the 6th of April. Panenkoic's video on this goes more in depth on the technicality of this than I'm going to do here. 121st star. Now, it sounds crazy, but there actually is, in fact, 121 stars in Super Mario 64. On February 8th, 2020, SwankyBox uploaded a video showcasing an extra star he had found inside of the slide on Cool Cool Mountain. The star seemed to have all resembling properties of a star, and this was a really big deal, but it was unfortunately not a real star. Swanky ended up making an update video on this, and it turns out that the star not existing was due to him using an outdated level editor called Toadstool 64. The issue was mainly due to him extending level boundaries, which with Toadstool 64,
Okay, this is
caused
the
some of the
thing.
code
What
in
I
the game
didn't
to
know
error,
that.
and in turn, this fake 121st star showed up in the slide on Cool Cool Mountain. SGI content. Super Mario 64 utilizes SGI content within things like the cover art for the game. SGI stands for Silicon Graphics, and Silicon Graphics are what's responsible for the incredible cover art for the game that never ended up making it into gameplay for pretty obvious reasons. I'm guessing that this refers to not only the SGI content itself, but also fan-made videos showcasing what the game would look like with an SGI-based Mario, as well as mods to actually play as Silicon Graphics Mario. It's honestly pretty unsettling, but it's also pretty interesting at the same time. Super Mario 64 2. Super Mario 64 2 was a sequel to Super Mario 64 that was planned to release in 1999, but never ended up making it past the development process. It was planned to release on the Nintendo 64 DD, which was a real Nintendo 64 console that included a disk drive, and little to nothing is known about its gameplay. The game was apparently planned to have Luigi and even multiplayer, but this ended up failing pretty badly, as well as the console that it was planned to be on. Hanging beneath Bob Bridge. In Bob on Battlefield, Mario is able to hang under the bridge near the spawn point of the stage. It's thought to be a glitch, and it probably is, and this video that I found from April 2009 shows off this extremely simple trick. Bowser's Dank Rave. Bowser's Dank Rave is a mini meme hack created by PyreDie1 in March of 2016. Popularized by people like Simple Flips, this was the first ROM in an ongoing series by PyreDie, and arguably the biggest change is that Mario gets replaced with Rosalina. The original image for the ROM is also pretty questionable. Level Select. The Level Select screen is a secret screen used by the devs during the game's development, and the selection screen can be accessed through a cheat code. This screen features an early logo for the game, as well as originally having 32 planned stages for the game. That's more than double the 15 levels that made it into the final game. Cannonless. Cannonless is an iconic speedrunning trick which involves skipping the cannon step in the star, blast away the wall. Normally, Mario would go inside of this cannon and shoot the corner of the wall away to collect the star, but this can be skipped by just running at the wall and hoping that Mario grabs the ledge. This trick is notorious for being the biggest run killer imaginable in speedrunning, and there's literally no way to get it consistently unless you do alignment setups. As shown with this demonstration, the reason Mario is even able to grab the star at all is because when Mario is grabbing a ledge, it puts his hitbox above the ledge, making him instantly grab the star. Who's filming Lakitu? That's a really good question. I have no idea. I'm guessing that this is some sort of speculatory topic because it does seem like grounds for an interesting theory, but I can say for certain that the Lakitu that we do see does have a purpose in the game, and that's to keep track of Mario's star count. But as for who's filming the Lakitu that's filming Mario, I have absolutely no clue. Game Over screen. The Game Over screen in Super Mario 64 can be a bit unsettling sometimes, and I think that this entry refers to not only its fairly creepy nature, but also that getting a game over in Super Mario 64 doesn't actually have any real consequences. The screen goes from having a red background with Mario's eyes spinning around, right back to a cheery blue background as if nothing happened. Bugged fire texture. When Mario gets burned, this fire texture appears behind him. The reason it looks the way it does is because the fire texture when Mario gets burned is actually a mistake in the game's code. And in March of 2020, Zoinknoise made a patch for this by fixing the coding mistake. The intended texture was meant to look like this. Haunted dirt texture. People in the Mario 64 community claim to see a face inside of this dirt texture as well as this other texture. Whether or not there's actually faces in these is obviously subjective, but something that is cooler than that is that a YouTuber named Phantomel actually managed to find the original source image for this dirt texture. But as for the faces, there's seriously nothing there, and this is just a case of our pattern-loving brains finding faces in things even as silly as a dirt texture. Broken paintings. If you've ever played Super Mario 64, you've probably noticed that a lot of the paintings for the game's worlds appear multiple times throughout.
Yeah, that's right, I didn't jump in painting, that's not very writing on there. Maybe it's not the world on this, because the world's on the one world. You know what I mean, people? Yeah, so, It's weird. It's complicated. I don't know. Let's just one.
The castle. And if you try to go inside of the duplicates, they appear to be broken. This, unsurprisingly, has bred some creepypasta material, but I think that the actual reason for duplicate paintings is due to Nintendo being clever and saving resources by just putting the same painting somewhere else. Test maps. The test map for Super Mario 64 DS is a really cool unused map hidden within the game files. This map has no real purpose other than for the developers to test warps, objects, collision data, and general game testing. This map, with the nature of the DS version, is seriously cool though. Ghosts don't die. In Big Boo's Haunt, on the first star to go on a ghost hunt, whenever Mario kills a ghost, Big Boo delivers the message, "Ghosts don't die. Can you get out of here alive?" Blarg.
No.
Blarg has appeared several times throughout
Ghosts
the Mario
can't die.
games, most well known for his appearance in Super Mario World. Blarg was planned to be in Super Mario 64, but the enemy unfortunately never made it out of the beta stage of development. An unfinished model of Blarg can be found in the game files, and this is footage of what he looks like in game by forcing him to appear using a cheat code. Blarg was planned to be in Lethal Lava Land, Bowser in the Fire Sea, and Mario Over the Rainbow. Half A-Press. Half A-Presses were introduced by the A-Button Challenge by Panenkoek, and the term is usually only applied to the A-Button Challenge itself. This can be easily confusing for people, but I'll try and give a competent explanation. The term half A-Press refers to when Mario enters a stage while holding down the A button, allowing for a myriad of moves to be performed from the get-go without requiring the pressing of A while in the stage. The act of holding out a previous required A button press during the subsequent entrance of another stage or mission and
Interesting what you can do with a challenge.
point or until the collection of a star can be really important. When holding down A, whether the A button was pressed before entering the stage or during the duration of the stage, the player is able to perform short kicks, swim in water instead of performing broad strokes, and is able to spin in the air. If you want a more detailed explanation of just exactly how this works, Panenkoek has made a wonderful explanation video for the star Watch for Rolling Rocks using the half A-Press. Big Bob-omb is nothing but a big dud now. In Bob-omb Battlefield, after defeating King Bob-omb, if you go and talk to the Bob-omb buddy, he will tell you that Big Bob-omb is nothing but a big dud now. Another interesting detail is that after defeating King Bob-omb, the ball pit
That's a really good, that's a good question. The Bob-omb is just, not a fire for the Bob-ombs. It's just a war guy won't kill Mario and talk to Bowser and say, "Hey Bob-omb, can you kill Mario?" I'm gonna say, "Yeah, I can do that." How to say that how about that? Mine is gonna be killed from Bowser. Maybe, yeah, it's just a weird thing, you know. Crazy though.
then contains 3 bowling balls instead of the previous 2. The Bowser Room. The Bowser Room is a small...
Oh yeah, just the Bowser Room. You can see it's a basically Bowser Room. You can see just a picture from Bowser. And I think 3 things. I didn't saw a Bowser Room before. I never. It's a good Easter egg, I guess.
hidden room in Super Mario 64. The room is possible to get to by BLJing into a hidden warp above the waterfall outside of the castle, and when performed exactly like this, it takes you to this room. Except, this room isn't actually real. The image of the room that most people are familiar with was started by Chris from Oni Plays in June of 2017, when he mentioned it in a Let's Play video of Crash Bandicoot Warped with his friends.
I saw your fake Mario 64 hoax where he was just in a room looking up.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
How did you see that?
You sent it to me.
When?
You sent it to me like a year ago.
Whoa!
He's just looking through the window with Bowser's at the window.
I printed that out and I brought it to school and I said, "Look, it's real." I can't believe I sent you that.
Kasara's misconception. Wet Dry World already has a rather interesting aesthetic, but the stage's skybox raises even more questions.
Yeah, the picture
One of those questions was what location
Just
the
like
skybox was
underwater.
actually from. People originally thought that the skybox was located in Casares, in Spain, and things like this now deleted tweet from Super Mario Broth is part of where this misconception came from. Wet Dry World's skybox is actually located in Shabam, Yemen, and this is the original image for the skybox. Yellow Cap Switch. The yellow cap switch is an unused object found inside of the game files. The finished game only contains 3 switches, which are the wing cap, metal cap, and vanish cap. According to the decompilation of Super Mario 64, the blocks that the yellow cap switch would have activated were intended to give Mario a Koopa shell if it had made it into the final game. Bowser broke the door. The door into the castle's courtyard is bricked up, as well as everything around the courtyard, as if it was broken through and then later patched up using bricks. This has led people to assume that Bowser could have broken into the castle through the back door in the courtyard and then just patched it up to fix it when he was already inside. But viewing this from another angle kind of makes this theory completely fall apart in my opinion. I think that it's just a purposeful creative decision from Nintendo to include bricks here so that the courtyard is maintained in a closed space. Though the bricks on the door itself is an interesting decision from Nintendo. Jolly Roger Bay Fog. In Jolly Roger Bay, the first time you enter the stage to complete the first star, the stage has noticeable fog in the distance as well as blanket fog going over the water. But after you exit the stage by completing the star, the fog literally disappears forever. Even if you replay the first star again, the fog just doesn't come back. The only way to get it to come back is if you start an entirely new save file. Nobody really knows for sure why Nintendo made it this way, but it's thought to be related to the idea of ghosts being connected to pirate ships. And if intentional, this is a really strange detail.
Yeah, that's cool.
Other Lakitu, bro. Just like with the earlier entry, Who's Filming Lakitu, I have no idea what this is referring to. I couldn't find a single thing about a second Lakitu brother in Super Mario 64, and I'm fairly certain that this is just a nod to the Lakitu enemy being the other Lakitu brother, because what the hell else would this be? During my research of this entry, what I did find was a video from Yoshi Electron from February of 2008 showing off a way to actually play as Lakitu by using a Game Shark code, and it's just as funny as you would expect. Chief Chili Yoshi Dialogue. Normally in Super Mario 64 DS, it is not possible to enter the Chief Chili Challenge course using Yoshi. Try saying that 3 times. But if you do it anyway using cheats, you'll find that Chief Chili has special unused dialogue for Yoshi being inside of the course. It's uncertain why Nintendo cut this out of the final game. Parallel Worlds. This is actually supposed to be Parallel Universe, and this is mainly reserved for task-related things like 0 and half Aprus runs, and if you want a far better explanation of this, Panenkoic once again has just a great explanation of it, but I'm going to simplify mine for the sake of the video. A parallel universe is an area in any map of Super Mario 64 in which the game creates copies of the geometry way outside of the level's boundaries.
Yeah.
The player would normally never ever reach a parallel universe in casual gameplay. This is once again a very simplified description, but it gets way more complicated than just some geometry outside of the map. Big Boo's Secret Laugh. In Big Boo's Haunt, Big Boo has an incredibly rare chance to play a slowed down version of his normal laughter, and it's pretty terrifying to hear. The chance of his secret laughter playing is probably close to 0, and of all the years I've spent playing Super Mario 64, I've never noticed this while playing. Not even once. This is what it sounds like. It That Really You? This is a callback to finding Yoshi on the roof of the castle after collecting all the stars, in which Yoshi's first lines are, "Mario, it that really you?" This is a pretty embarrassing spelling mistake, but in Nintendo's fairness, there's really no other mistakes like this in the game. Please walk quietly in the hallway. In the hallway upstairs in the castle, there's a sign that reads, "Please walk quietly in the hallway." I don't think that the developers had any intentions of making the sign sound as ominous as it does, but I think it has something to do with the unsettling nature of the game that I talked about earlier, combined with such an ambiguous statement. Moto's Man. Much like with Blarg, Moto's Man is another enemy that was found in the game files due to the Nintendo Gigaleak. Moto's Man doesn't appear to be in any other Mario game, and his existence never made it past the beta stage of the game. This is what he looks like when you force him into the game using cheats. SMB3's World 4 is Tiny Huge Island. This entry pretty much explains itself. In World 4 of Super Mario Bros. 3, Mario can go into pipes and have the world size change, just like with Tiny Huge Island from Super Mario 64. Due to this similarity, people have speculated that these two worlds could be connected, but I think that Nintendo just reused an idea that they already used in a previous Mario game. White Rabbits. One of Mario 64 DS's secret stars is a star in which Yoshi has to collect 8 white rabbits, and upon collecting them all, the player receives one of the game's secret stars. There's not much more to this one. Mario 64 is Freemason Initiation. Super Mario 64 is a Freemasonic and Illuminist digital ritual. The game begins in this Masonic hall. There is the checkerboard floor, symbolic of the world of polarized opposites, the physical world on which the ritual is based. The coins in this game are actually pinnacles. They are the coins from tarot and occult symbolism. In this game, you play the role of a Mercury-type character traveling into the Earth and between the realms. The first map is I think you get the idea. This rather nonsensical theory is a monstrous copypasta with an origin that I can't really pinpoint. The repost thread on Twitter is literally 70 tweets long, so I'll leave a link to it in the description if you're seriously curious enough to read it. Ghoul Medal. The Ghoul Medal is an anomalous collectible item that can appear in Super Mario 64. It is often described as a token of sorts, usually with a boo or a skeleton engraving on it. This medal was believed to exist due to a sign found in Big Boo's haunt that says, "You don't stand a ghost of a chance in this house. If you walk out of here, you deserve a Ghoul Medal." Some personalized copies have a Ghoul Medal as an unlockable item, and when collected, it usually displays the animation when the player grabs a key. The one issue with this item, though, is that none of that is real. The Ghoul Medal isn't a real item in the game. The phrase Ghoul Medal is just a play on the words gold medal. It's literally not any deeper than that. Toad's literally trapped inside the walls. Toad has multiple instances of dialogue that allude to Peach, as well as almost everyone else being trapped inside of the castle walls. This is mentioned several times throughout the game, and it's always been grounds for speculation as to if there could really be anything inside of the castle's walls. This theory also connects the stained glass window of Peach to being a place where Peach could have been inside of during the entire game. The analysis claims that there's at least 20 feet of space between the two windows, but it's probably just down to the game's design more than anything. Delicious Cake. When you complete Super Mario 64, in the ending credits with Peach, she says,
"Let's make a delicious cake for Mario."
Another thing this could also be referencing
Sounds like
previous
Princess
episodes
Peach is
of the
not
game.
very happy
I'm
about
pretty
the
sure this is a
cake.
reference to the dialogue at the end of the game. Space World 95 Demo. Space World was an annual video game trade show hosted by Nintendo from 1989 to 2001. On November 24th, 1995, Nintendo unveiled the Nintendo 64 console at the 7th annual Shoshinkai Software Exhibition.
Nice on the Ultra 64.
Also present at the convention was a demo of Super Mario 64, which is about 50% complete at the time. There's also a creepypasta that surrounds this demo with the same name, but the version shown off at Space World in 1995 is 100% real. And wherever these copies are, let's hope that they're being rightfully preserved. Womp King's remains become the tower. This one is obviously another conspiracy, but it just doesn't really hold a lot of weight. Yes, after defeating Womp King, the fortress does receive a tower in the later stars, but the idea of Womp King's remains being able to build a tower far bigger than him is just flat out wrong. The only argument that could really be made here is the remains being used for the foundation, but that's literally it. Killing Koopa the Quick. It is actually possible to kill Koopa the Quick, but it's probably not what you think. In Tiny Huge Island, Koopa the Quick can be raced just like in Bob on Battlefield to collect a star off of him after winning the race. But if you become huge by going through one of the pipes and then revisit his location, he becomes way smaller than Mario and can actually be crushed just like a normal Koopa. It is worth noting that this specific Koopa doesn't actually spawn a shell when you try to kill him. K's amazing. We've already talked about him, but Kaze is a well-known ROM hacker from Germany responsible for ROMs like Last Impact, Return to Yoshi's Island, and many more amazing maps. He's also responsible for mods like Portal 64 and Super Mario 64 Online. 120 has spiritual significance. This one is honestly just a really random connection that can be made with almost any number it seems, but since 120 is in fact a number, it is accompanied by something called an angel number. Now I'm not super religious, but according to Pinterest, angel number 120 says that you have to be ready to grow out of your comfort zone and lose traits that would otherwise hinder your growth. Yeah, I'll get right on that. I find it funny that you get other descriptions for the same number literally numerous times, but let's move on. Bowser got into the castle with his sub. There's a pretty well-known conspiracy theory within the Mario 64 community that talks about how Bowser could have gotten into the castle through his sub. This is one of the few theories so far that actually seems like it can make sense, so it's pretty interesting to think about. Gay baby jail.
I am tired. Okay. Let's watch something different, okay? Let's watch a YouTube probe or something. Okay, let's go.
Phenomena. Okay.
Mr. President, thank you for joining us.
My name is Bill Smith.
Okay, we appreciate your commitment to answer our questions. Over the years, I've heard you talk.
I talk a lot, probably better than anybody that you've interviewed in a long time.
If you just let me finish my question. Good. I've heard you talk about your adherence to a philosophy called positive thinking.
I think you have to have a positive outlook, otherwise you would have a negative outlook without a positive outlook. But I also think in terms of the downside, because if you're positive, that can mean you have AIDS, and that's gay.
To what extent do you think?
I don't think at all.
Right. When can you?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Could I just finish my question?
You can't do that. You have
Why
to go.
can't I do that?
Jonathan, have you been watching television?
I have.
Have you been seeing the scientist that turned himself into a pickle?
I'm sorry, that is 2 years old.
Talking about this. It's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
Mr. President, the question your intelligence.
Well, I speak.
The ability to speak doesn't.
Jonathan,
can you read?
I do. I
you?
read a lot.
Really?
You know, I read a lot. They like to say I don't read. I read a lot. I read a lot. I spend a lot of time with at the books. I read the books all the time.
What books?
I don't want to tell you that. Not in Jonathan, I'm very intelligent. Believe me, I intelligence all the time. Usually it's once a day or at least 2 or 3 times a week intelligence. And, you know, there are those that say, I'm actually too much intelligence. You do know that.
Who says that?
All of the experts, every one of them, not one of them, practically nobody.
Mr. President.
Yes, Daddy. What?
Different subject.
Jonathan, look, I'm also... Look. Obama never did it.
Right. You know, the last time I was with you was the day before your Tulsa rally.
Right. It was a good area. We had a tremendous crowd. We had tremendous response. And I went to the toilet and I took a tremendous crap. In other words, I sent Obama into the White House.
Why would you say that? Mr. President, have you ever met with a Black Lives Matter activist to...
Johnny boy, I did more for the black community than President of Oklahoma, whether you like it or not. I gave them massive amounts of meth, which frankly nobody wanted me to do.
Oh, okay.
Have you been watching television? So we have a new phenomena. It's called the China virus. This is a virus from China, just so you do understand, okay? I think it's under control. I'll tell you what.
How? 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
What the hell?
It's interesting. Nobody ever brings up China. They always bring the virus. But, you know, I have never nuked China. And by not doing that, we saved millions of thousands of tens of thousands of hundreds of thousands of tens of millions of billions of lives.
I get it.
Times 2.
I get it, but...
And those people that really understand it, they understand it, they said it's incredible the job that we've done.
But 1,000 Americans are dying a day.
They are dying. That's true. And it is what it is.
But how do you think we can get that under control?
Take a look. This thing is top secret. Top. What? Jonathan. Take a look at the violence.
I'll have to see those.
You touch it, you go to jail for 10 years.
Okay.
By the way, funny story. When I was making this, I lost my pencil, which is a very big problem, a much bigger problem than global warming in terms of the real world. So I went all the way to Western Pennsylvania. But, okay, are you ready? It turns out you can't actually get pencils in states which are, you know, not Pennsylvania whatsoever.
Okay. Mr. President, you've been so generous with your time, and we really...
Okay. Thank you.
Und ich kann mich noch erinnern, es war schon damals verdächtig, doch statt dem George Bush hat man den Osama.
Okay, guys, I'm done already, okay? I am done. I am completely done. I don't know. Okay, I'm done. Guys, I'm gonna end it here. Always say gonna make reaction videos. I don't want to write anymore now because I'm tired and I want to still play with people. But it was weird if you want to play with watching with Mario and with the storyline about the Ultra 64 and all the secrets what you can see over there and challenges. It was very cool, I guess. So guys, that was all I want to say. So, see you next time. Bye!